This happens to a lot of architects where projects just sort of appear out of nowhere because you just happen to be at the right place at the right time. And this is definitely one of those. This is a project in the area that I know really well because my father is from there. And I happened to just be visiting this village, and everybody wanted to build a new mosque. The current mosque was losing its sort of civic and community nature and was becoming this male-dominated space. I found out that the mosque that was falling into disrepair had been built by this wonderful man who was this master mason who made a collection of 4 mosques within a 1-hour radius of each other. When we started thinking about the project and ways to save this building, it was also thinking about the wider ecology of the village in terms of inhabitants. It was right near the middle school, which was the only middle school of the area. And so it was a place that students from other villages came to. It was actually an uncle of mine who said, oh, maybe you could turn this building into a library. And I thought, that is insane and amazing. We should totally do that. And then we started this conversation with some of the village elders, women groups, but most importantly with the students. Conversations about the future, aspirations, challenges. And that's when we start hearing about the economic problems, that are inherent, about the students who don't have a space to study because there's too much noise in the house. These early conversations before you design anything are incredibly important. That social sustainability aspect, it's a process that has to come from a place of humility. We have to stay open to learning about, what the possibilities could be and then design to them. The material and the design in the way that the old mosque is and the new mosque came together was almost exclusively about climate. And we inspired ourselves from the old mosque. It's really about the mass of the buildings and the material that we're using. It's routinely 40 degrees outside, up to 45, and inside would be easily 10 to 15 degrees cooler. What the material does is that it keeps the temperature more or less stable. And because of that, we use compressed earth blocks. So we were not using the traditional adobe, but we used a material that was, I guess, a bit more contemporary, but that had the exact same thermal properties. Still using that mass, having these thick walls, but also playing with heights to make sure that, all that heat rises to the top as much as possible and you have sort of cooler human level experience. It became this collaboration between the original masons of the building and new masons that we invited from Agadez, who showed them how to mix salt in the mud, for example, for the interior, salt and Arabic gum for the interior render, because it chases away termites, which is a massive problem, and sort of makes it more slippery and almost paint-like, so you can apply it almost like you apply paint. And then on the outside, they taught them to mix it with shea butter, which I've never heard of that before. So we were just melting massive vats of shea butter and then pouring down in the mud and then applying that on the exterior walls, because shea butter apparently mixed with mud creates a waterproof surface. So that now we had a project that could go 8 to 10 years without maintenance rather than every year. It was sort of an amazing also learning experience for us. The award was definitely an affirmation, the signal that, okay, no, this is the right direction. Because it happened in the early parts of my career, it was incredibly important because then it maintained me in this direction. And I still haven't changed, my approach to architecture. The partner I worked on this project on, Yassi Ismaili, when she and I were thinking about submitting to the awards, one of the things that caught our attention was the different categories that we had to speak to. So it was people, place, planet. I will never forget, And we got super excited because we realized, no, but this is what we're doing. Because normally when you talk about sustainability, you only talk about planet to some extent. But then this idea that they were adding people and they were adding place, we thought was so special, and that we could actually speak to the full canvas, I guess, of what we saw the project as being and what the process of making the project was. Sometimes you get this eerie feel, you almost like something was made for you. Like we read all of these requirements and we thought, oh my gosh, this is everything we did.